What if you had a crush on your classmate who turned out to be a vampire and you promised to keep her secret? But you somehow end up with a harem of monster girls, including an alien, a perverted demon, and a journalist hell-bent on uncovering each girl's secret monster identity. Well, that's exactly what happens to Asahi, a high school boy who has trouble keeping secrets from anyone because he's so easy to read. His poker face is so weak that he was once rejected by Nagisa, the class representative, because she could read his intentions before he even asked her out. But there is one secret he's managed to keep for a while. He has a crush on Yoko, his cool and reserved classmate who always eats lunch alone and doesn't talk to anyone. Asahi loves that Yoko is a mysterious and secretive person, the complete opposite of him. But it turns out that his friends have known all along about his crush on Yoko. They encourage him to confess his love to her so he doesn't get rejected preemptively again. And although Asahi's friends are supportive, they all expect him to get rejected. Asahi is so nervous to confess that he plans to hand Yoko his love letter and run away immediately. But upon reaching the classroom, he finds Yoko unfurling a large pair of wings from her back. A shocking sight for both Asahi and Yoko. She retracts her wings and hides her fangs and asks Asahi if he saw anything. He tries to convince her that he didn't see a thing, but his face betrays him. With no other choice, Yoko admits to Asahi that she's a vampire, and she's surprised that Asahi isn't scared of her. Unfortunately, now that he knows her true identity, Yoko will have to leave school. Asahi feels bad for causing this situation, as he realizes that Yoko is actually a kind and outgoing person, but she's just been forced to be alone in order to keep her true nature hidden. Asahi refuses to let her leave school and promises to become her friend and keep her secret safe. Tears stream down Yoko's face as she thinks back to how lonely she's been. She happily agrees to be Asahi's friend. And although he's not ready to confess to her yet, Asahi promises Yoko that he'll someday reveal a secret of his own to her and hopes she'll hear him out when the time comes. As they walk home together, Asahi starts to doubt his ability to keep Yoko's secret after all. But she reassures him that she believes in him and she's willing to accept whatever happens from now on. Meanwhile, Nagisa spies on Asahi and Yoko. The next day at school, Nagisa continues to spy on Asahi and reflects on how she brutally rejected him to prevent him from getting too close to her, but now acts jealous after seeing him with Yoko. She begins to wonder if Asahi ever truly had any feelings for her, or if perhaps he had discovered her secret. Nagisa decides to confront Asahi and asks him if he ever truly loved her, to which Asahi admits that he did. Nagisa is relieved for a moment, but then is immediately embarrassed about what she just asked. After school, Yoko eats her lunch with Asahi in an otherwise empty classroom, and finds some cream puffs that accidentally fell from a desk. Yoko believes that Asahi bought the cream puffs just for her, but he insists that those aren't his. On top of that, the puffs are too spicy for her to eat, and she inadvertently reveals her wings, just as Nagisa steps into the room. After a moment of awkward silence, Asahi begs Nagisa to forget about what she just saw. Suddenly, Nagisa accidentally reveals herself to be a tiny alien by stepping out of her human-sized robot. With her tiny ray gun pointed at Yoko, Nagisa asks her what planet she's from. Asahi and Yoko are both confused by this question, and reveal that Yoko is a vampire, not an alien, which makes Nagisa feel like a complete idiot. Both girls are then depressed over their true identities being unwillingly revealed. Nagisa was given strict orders not to let any human know her true identity, otherwise she'll be punished with spankings. But her superiors didn't say anything about vampires, so she's actually fine with Yoko knowing. Afraid that her secret will get out, Nagisa chases after Asahi with a sledgehammer that she refers to as a memory erasing device. She learned by reading manga that a strike to the head will erase someone's memories, which makes Asahi even more determined to outrun her. But when Nagisa mentions that she'll also erase his memories of Yoko's secret, Asahi decides to let Nagisa bash his head in order to protect the woman he loves. But Yoko saves Asahi moments before getting hit by Nagisa's hammer. Seeing how much Yoko trusts and believes in Asahi, Nagisa decides to believe in him as well. In the end, the three decide to keep each other's secrets safe. The next day, Mikan, a childhood friend of Asahi and the president of the newspaper club, tortures Asahi's friends for more information about his secret meeting with Yoko, but they refuse to tell her anything. Asahi also refuses, fearing that Mikan will spread the information around school, like she did to him in the past. Later that day, Asahi's teacher asks him to deliver homework to Yoko as she is sick and can't come to school. Mikan decides to follow him, but Nagisa arrives to help get Mikan off of his trail. Asahi decides to stop for a brief visit at Yoko's student apartment, but gets a call from Nagisa that Mikan managed to get past her and is on her way to Yoko's apartment. But once Mikan arrives, she's accidentally knocked unconscious after being buried under a pile of Yoko's junk from the closet. Later that night, she decides to Photoshop a romantic encounter between Asahi and Yoko and threatens to display it throughout the school. Asahi confronts Mikon on the school rooftop and begs her not to do it, but his pleading only makes her stronger and more determined. So Asahi takes the opposite approach and happily decides to let her put up the pictures, which drains Mikon of her resolve. After school, a spirit residing in Mikon's glasses assumes that she secretly has feelings for Asahi, but Mikon angrily denies this as she twists her own glasses around. Some time passes, and Nagisa begs Asahi for help as her robot has ran out of battery power before it could recharge, and she's now forced to come to him in her alien form. Asahi has no choice but to sneak into the girl's bathroom and carry Nagisa's body down to the nurse's office with Yoko's help. However, on their way out, Mikon stumbles upon the tiny alien form of the real Nagisa, so Asahi tries to play this off by pretending that Nagisa is just a lifelike figurine. Unfortunately, this only excites Mikon, while Nagisa has trouble maintaining a doll-like composure, forcing Asahi to snatch Nagisa back and hide from his friends. After taking shelter in a gym storage shed, Nagisa mysteriously grows to human size, and is embarrassed about revealing her antenna to Asahi, while Mikon and the others hunt them down. Asahi decides to have the human-sized Nagisa punch him out of the shed so she can escape by pretending to be angry. After school, a mysterious horned lady magically returns Nagisa to her normal size. After discovering that UV rays from sunlight cause Yoko's skin to instantly tan, Nagisa decides to train her into dodging sunlight on her route to and from school. To help Yoko, Asahi decides to study up on vampire weaknesses, while Nagisa encourages Yoko to do a field test with her new training. On the way, they walk through a shopping arcade where Asahi tries to protect Yoko from salesmen offering garlic and crosses. However, like sunlight, their effects on Yoko are much less harmful than their depictions in popular fiction. After coming across an uncovered bridge, Yoko decides that she wants to give up her new daytime route, until Asahi asks her if she's ever tried using sunscreen. The next day at school, Yoko ends up using it for the first time, and is surprised by how effective it is. The following weekend, Asahi and Yoko go to an amusement park together. Yoko initially saw this as a chance to get him closer to Nagisa, but unfortunately, Nagisa declined the invitation, because she saw it as an opportunity to have Yoko go on a date with Asahi. The two of them go through the attractions, including a haunted house, where Yoko is scared at first, but becomes upset at the actor portraying a blood-sucking vampire. Later that evening, Yoko notes that their outing was similar to the relationship that her own parents had with each other, to the point where they even attended their current school together. Meanwhile, Yoko's father mistakenly believes Asahi to be Yoko's new boyfriend, and is suspicious of him. He tasks a werewolf named Shiro with bringing Yoko back home if her secret has been revealed. While returning home from the amusement park, Asahi and Yoko encounter a scary wolf man with fangs. Yoko recognizes him as her childhood friend Shiro, but he threatens Asahi anyway. When Shiro sees the moon in the evening sky, he ends up transforming into a sexy lady named Shiho. She's the dominant personality in the body she shares with Shiro. The three then go to Yoko's home, where Shiho starts teasing Asahi, making Yoko jealous, forcing her to reveal that the Wolfman can change at any depiction of the moon, including a picture, which she shows to Shiho. Meanwhile, Nagisa heads to Yoko's home to make a peace offering with her homemade cake, but upon arriving finds Shiho pinning Asahi down, and leaves immediately. She calms down and returns a moment later, only to find Shiro in the same position, and flees at the sight. In a private moment, Shiho tells Yoko that she should be more honest about her feelings for Asahi. The next day at school, they clear up the misunderstanding with Nagisa. Later that day, Shiho surprisingly appears in their class as a transfer student, introducing herself as a pervert. After being relentlessly teased by Shiho's body in school, Asahi begins to nosebleed constantly, while Nagisa starts to get jealous. Asahi runs away to meet with Yoko when the two see a tiny girl with horns walking by them. Soon, Yoko decides to speak directly with the girl, who tells Yoko that she is Akane Komodo, related to their homeroom teacher, Akari Komodo. Akari then shows up to wrangle Akane back to her office, where Asahi and Yoko learn that Akane is actually a 1,000-year-old devil with real horns, and Akari's great-great-grandmother. Akane also claims that it was thanks to her that the various supernatural characters were allowed to transfer into the same class. Despite Akane's attempts to portray herself as an adult, Yoko keeps baiting her into childish reactions with snacks and claims to be the more mature girl. The two girls then decide to have a sexy contest in the empty school gym, with Shiho acting as the host, while Asahi is forced to be the judge by using his nosebleed reactions. Events include a sexy pose contest, swimsuit contest, dance contest, and cosplay contest. Yoko and Akane try to one-up each other to prove their sexiness, but Asahi keeps getting the strongest reaction from Shiho's actions. Meanwhile, Nagisa starts tracking mysterious demonic energy from her cat-like spacecraft, coming from elsewhere in the city. The contest ends with Yoko and Akane blowing up the gym in a large explosion, and sending Nagisa's spacecraft flying from the shockwave. Some time passes, and Asahi finds out he has to retake a cooking class, having missed the previous one. He is delighted to find out that Yoko, Nagisa, and Shiho are joining him in making curry, but soon finds out that all three girls have trouble making it. Nagisa's directions lead her to make a chocolate cake, which is accidentally tossed out a nearby window, where Akane catches it with her horn, and after taking a bite, she falls in love with it. Later, Mikan decides to buy snacks for Akane in hopes of getting an interview with her, but Akane slips away until Akari appears to wrangle her back to the home economics room. However, both women are sickened to find out that Yoko and Nagisa got too enthusiastic and added something to the curry that causes it to spew poison gas. Later that night, Akane breaks down the wall of Akari's apartment and demands that she get Nagisa to make more chocolate for her. When Akari refuses, Akane responds by magically steering an asteroid towards Earth, threatening to destroy the planet. Yoko, Nagisa, and Shiho reunite to make chocolate in the same room, but Akari discovers that the asteroid veers off course when Akane loses concentration, so she ties her down to a chair and force feeds her chocolates made by everyone except Nagisa. Even as Akane tries copying herself to reach Nagisa's chocolate, the other girls manage to fight off Akane's clones until she loses enough focus that Nagisa's comrades in outer space force the asteroid to make a U-turn, saving Earth from destruction. When summer vacation comes around, Asahi gets up the nerve to invite Yoko to the pool. The problem is, Yoko doesn't know how to swim and thinks that Asahi is asking her so they both could practice. So Yoko invites both Nagisa and Shiho to join them, and Asahi's three friends wind up going too. Shiho leads the swimming lesson, with Nagisa as her assistant. Her next set of instructions cause Nagisa to knock her out and take her place as instructor, but her teaching style nearly drowns both Yoko and Asahi. After the pool closes and everyone is on their way home, Asahi and Yoko both make excuses to ditch the gang and meet up at the school that evening. It turns out that Yoko wants to continue her swimming lessons at the school pool. After some more practice, Yoko tells Asahi about how her parents learned to swim and how her life has changed for the better since she and Asahi met. But things take an embarrassing turn when they begin to address each other by their first names for the very first time. Meanwhile, it's revealed that Akane has been secretly watching them. Yoko invites Asahi and Nagisa to the summer festival. However, Yoko tricked them into going together so they would be spending time alone together. Yoko and Shiho then follow Asahi and Nagisa around to watch what they do together. Asahi, trying to make the atmosphere less awkward, invites Nagisa to play at the shooting gallery. Yoko quickly becomes flustered while watching the two of them play and loses track of where they went. Soon after, Mikan shows up with her two little brothers and helps them look for Asahi and Nagisa. Soon after they find the two of them, Nagisa trips and falls onto Asahi and at that moment realizes that she's in love with him. After the incident at the summer festival, Yoko avoids Asahi. He continually tries to do things together with her, but she just keeps running away from him, prompting Shiho to talk with Yoko about being more honest with her feelings. Meanwhile, Asahi asks his friends for advice on approaching Yoko again. A few moments later, Asahi and his friends come down the staircase and notice Nagisa trying to hide a photo from them. Nikon also arrives, coming up the stairs and wondering what the commotion is about. Nikon becomes suspicious after seeing Nagisa back up, so she tries to take the picture that the other is hiding. Pushing the two of them into the wall, Nagisa accidentally lets go of the photo, which coincidentally lands in Asahi's hands. Everyone watches as Nagisa gets rid of the evidence by eating the photo right before their eyes. Asahi, who can't see, puts his arms against the wall, unknowingly blocking Nagisa in. Yoko, who passes by and sees this, runs away. At her house in the bathtub, she begins to think about everything that happened over the past few days, including what Shiho said. That night, Asahi has a nightmare that Yoko and him can't be friends anymore. The next morning, Asahi finds Yoko, who says to meet her on the rooftop in the evening. Asahi decides that he's going to confess to her on the rooftop. Nagisa overheard his conversation and wonders what she should do. Mikan, who is revealed to have also been watching, thinks back to all of Asahi's old love confessions and explains how Yoko was the only serious love he has ever had. Nagisa understands what she has to do, and while Asahi is making his way towards the rooftop, Nagisa stops him and begins to chase after him. Asahi runs for his life as Nagisa tries to knock him out with a sleep-inducing device. Asahi decides he's had enough and climbs up a stack of desks and chairs to make his way to the rooftop. But when he finally gets there, he sees Yoko being taken away by a mysterious bat, later revealed to be her father. Asahi, Akari, Nagisa, Shiho and Akane pursue Yoko, but are hampered by Akari's refusal to exceed the speed limit and risk damaging her new car. Akane knocks out Akari and uses her powers to take control of the car, but ends up destroying it in the process. Asahi, Nagisa and Shiho break into the mansion and are confronted by Yoko's father. Asahi asks him to return Yoko, but Yoko's father questions him about his relationship with his daughter. Yoko arrives, and the trio try to help her escape, only to learn that her father was bringing her home because her mother is sick. Yoko's father learns that Asahi knows about Yoko's secret and chases after them, but Asahi is able to get away from him by making him slip on a banana peel. While hiding in her room, Yoko and Asahi talk about what happened at the festival and clear up all misunderstandings. They then go to talk to Yoko's father, and Asahi offers to have his memories of Yoko's secret erased by Nagisa if he promises to allow Yoko to continue to go to school. Yoko's father agrees, but only if Asahi erases all of his memories of Yoko. Nagisa is unable to go through with the act, however, and Yoko tackles Asahi before he can erase his own memories. Just as she is about to confess her feelings for him, Yoko's father collapses, and Nagisa realizes that the hammer must have hit him when Yoko tackled Asahi. The next morning, Akari and Akane pick up the students with a brand new car that Akane paid for. Yoko's father pretends not to care that Yoko is leaving, but runs after the car, waving goodbye. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching.